What's up, everybody? This is Eric the Unit Norris from SLC Punkcast, and welcome to another episode of Live and Wired. This is where we tell you about shows that are happening. Well, I tell you about shows that are happening in and around the Salt Lake area, and Dustin will tell you about shows that are happening all over the country. So yeah, in case you forgot, in case you weren't counting down the minutes for when you were going to see a certain band playing in your hometown. Maybe you are that person, maybe you were that person and you got older and are just thinking, is it worth it? But I tell you, it is worth it sometimes, because this is also the part of the show where I give you my from the pit. And I do have a tale from the pit I have alluded to last week. And if you were tuning in last week, I had told you about the shows that I went to, and I had just finished playing a show. And I was, as I said, going to save the juice for next week. That show was Localized. That was SLUG Localized, which featured my band, the Apathetics, and we got to perform. Yeah, we got to perform that. I'll tell you all about it in just a minute. But yeah, I was recording that episode in the parking lot at Kilby Court after I had loaded in and everybody had gone home, and I was the last one standing. So yeah, it was, and my voice was pretty raspy from singing my heart out. It was a busy night, but a good night. So yeah, now that it is, now that enough time has passed and I've gathered all my thoughts and I am able to tell you what has happened, let's get into this tale from the pit. I'm calling it Live, Laugh, Mosh. So yeah, what this was, SLUG Localized. If you are not privy to the information of what SLUG Localized is, SLUG is an underground magazine that's been around since 1989. It started off as just a zine, then it became a bit more of a little bigger than that. And every month, they release an issue every month, and every month they do a piece called the Localized piece, where they interview and do feature articles on various local bands. They've been doing that for years, and for January, my band, Apathetics, got selected because they were looking to do a feature piece on punks and punchlines. And that is Punks and Punchlines. I've talked about them on a show before. That is the whole vessel founded by my friends Hunter Iacobellis and Bobby White, who have to combine the elements of punk and comedy together into one bill. They've been doing that for a few years now, and it's been going very good for them. Anyway, they said that they wanted to do Localized on that whole showcase, but they would need some bands to perform, so who do you want to play? And Hunter said, us, Apathetics. I want them to be on there. So that's when I got the email from SLUG, or the message from SLUG, asking us about when we would like to be interviewed and get our photos taken, all that fun stuff. So yeah, we got that taken care of, and now comes the show. And the show was over at Kilby Court. This was the first time I played Kilby Court since 2016. I want to say when mine and Josh's old band, Suburban Hellkill, played this local showcase called Frozen Fest. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool time. At that, I'm talking about the last time that we played it, but that's how long ago it was. Almost a decade since we played Kilby Court. Now we're back and the stage has been built out. The sound is a lot more, different. I would say better, definitely better. And we definitely had a bigger crowd this time around. But we'll get to that in a minute. We got there, and we weren't sure we had some backlighting issues. We weren't sure who brought the amps, who brought their cabs, who brought the drum set. And we're like, shit, we didn't bring all of our gear. I mean, me and Tyler were the only ones that brought our whole amp setup. Josh just brought his head, but Kyle from Hangxiety loaned him his cab. Like, he was good to do that. And of course, Matt, also from Hangxiety, lent his drum set to us. And Hangxiety, they were the opening band, but Apathetics, we had to do our sound check first. So as soon as everybody arrived, we got set up and we did our sound checks, and everything sounded good. Had to do some troubleshooting because, got to make sure it sounds good. When you're switching gear, there's always going to be something that sounds a little bit different than what you're used to. But we managed. So anyway, Hangxiety is the first band to take the stage after I was done. After I was going around and mingling and setting up the merch booth and everything, it was, we all just kind of gathered into the general area, and we watched Hangxiety perform. And that was, Hangxiety. They have the super 90s butthole surfer / Primus-esque alternative rock. And their bassist, Colton Merkley, he used my bass cab, and he commented on it afterwards, saying like, that cab is really fucking cool. I say, yeah, my cousin actually bought it from this collector who collected a bunch of studio equipment and gear from Trent Reznor. So he's like, yeah, you're playing on a Trent Reznor amp right there. So it's a fun little bragging point for me. But yeah, and it was awesome seeing them again. I've seen them once. It was over at Johnny's on 2nd a few years ago. Well, it's awesome to see them perform. I mean, my friend Matt Bennett, I know he's an awesome drummer, but this is the first band I've seen him in where he's doing drumming and vocals. I've only ever seen him do one or the other. So this was, and drumming and doing vocals, that is not an easy thing to do. So more power to him from that. And of course, Kyle Smith, he's an amazing guitarist, and he had a lot of fun with the vocals. He was, it's 90s alt rock. You're meant to be a little goofy. So it was fun, that's basically what set the precedent for the evening ahead. It's punks and punchlines, comedy and punk rock. So yeah, and that was the next segment, the punch and punchline segment. It was kickstarted by Hunter. He warmed up the audience with his bits, which were mostly about sex, which I've heard before. He's told them multiple times. I've heard them multiple times, but some of them still made me laugh, especially the one about his dad slapping him on the ass. Like he said, he was getting intimate with this chick, and he thought he was having a heart attack. So he's like, runs upstairs in the buff, and he's like, goes to the bathroom, and he's heaving. And then his dad is like, "What is wrong with you?" And he says, "I think I'm having a heart attack." "Are you sure?" And then he just slaps him in the ass, and Hunter lets out the biggest belch, the biggest burp. He goes, "Oh, I guess I didn't have a heart attack." "No, you're just gassy." So that had me on the floor. I wish I recorded that one, but trust me, it was pretty funny. So yeah, that part made me laugh, but honestly, I think Hunter's overdue to change up his material. I mean, I'm just coming from my standpoint. I've seen him play before. I've seen him do this set. I've heard those jokes before. He's probably playing to a completely different audience who haven't heard these. I don't know. I don't know what his, I don't attend every Punks and Punchlines show, so I don't know what the audience is like, but they seem pretty responsive. And he was just the warm-up act. The next act was David Hone, and he owned the stage with his drug-based comedy. He was telling bits on all these trips that he has had, just being a sort of recluse on his computer. And the one that had me laughing so hard was how he was so high, he was like balling out pretty hard, that he kept buying cheese to feed his computer mouse. That absolutely floored me. That was probably the hardest I was laughing in that, maybe it was the hardest I laughed that whole night, but definitely in that set. That was just the way he delivered that was so on point. I loved it. Then Ben Corrigan came up, and he had more of a deadpan delivery, I think, to say, with his performance. I mean, he sounded as if he was like a bit dazed, like he was kind of talking like this, just a little laid back, just telling his jokes that way, sort of like your stoner friend, That was his whole personality, I guess. He laid into some funny bits about mental health and apparently how we, the millennials, are the generation that lobbied for, quote, mental health days. He said, "So that was your mental health day." "Oh, it was fine." "Are you sure you want to come back to work?" "Oh, trust me. How I was yesterday, I would have been more of a problem for you guys. So trust me. Okay. Fun thought pieces. And then Kayla Stone came on, and she was a riot with her jokes about the single life and combining it with necrophilia. Like, what do you mean when you say body count? That was like one of her opening bits too, so I'm going, okay, let's see what else she's got. She also had one that had me laughing, where she got an unexpected response from a nun when she laid down a joke about, what kind of love do you show for Jesus, or how would you let Jesus into your life? It was something along like if the Jesus asked you to suck his cock, would you swallow? She basically said, yes, drink of this, for it is my blood. How are you going to let Jesus into your body? Let Jesus in. I can't do it justice, but trust me, the way she delivered it was pinpoint. It was fire. I loved it. And finally, the last comic of the night was Chuck Fury, the most established comedian. He played out of state. He even addressed that in his opening bit when he went on about the Utah stereotypes he gets when he's asked to when he plays out of state, and yeah, it's like let's get this out of the way. I'm not Mormon. I do drink. I only have one wife, etc., etc. Though I wish I had more. Excuse me. And he made some more jokes about like family life, and then also sexuality, and also what it's like to be done by another man. He said, I took a test and it turns out I'm 18% gay. And it turns out that they was doing the math, like 18% of the year accounts for 1 month. And he, of course, is like, so that's why they chose June. So he's like, okay, so 1 month out of the year, I'm gay. He also made a funny joke about how his niece, years ago when she was a kid, she kept talking about how she wanted to be a painter. Of course, he is thinking, yeah, she wants to be an artist. So one Christmas, he gives her a whole setup, like all these different colors, these instruction manuals on like different types of art that you can paint, the whole 9 yards. And then she looks at it and goes, what is this? And he says, well, you told me you wanted to be a painter. She says, yes, I want to paint houses. That already was pretty funny. But then Chuck comes in with like, okay, so my daughter's not an artist. She's a lesbian. And that got everybody howling. That was a fun one. So Chuck Fury, he is pretty damn funny. I liked his bit a lot. And now we get to the main act. The second main act. Well, actually, no, there was Hunter and Bobby came up on the stage and did a sort of end cap. They were talking about how honored they were to be part of SLUG Localized, how thankful they were for SLUG to be taking time to write the article on them, to interview them, that whole thing, and they were just up there. It was kind of them just patting each other on the back, just saying like, we started this, we had no idea it was going to be this. It was going to get this big. We would get this much of a following. We think that comedy and punk rock are one and the same. They're both there. We're both there to have fun and point out all the flaws in society and humanity, government, politics, whatever. And that's what we do. And we all have a good time while doing it. So it's yeah, it makes sense. Some bands have, you're basically just dismantling the whole idea of dead Kennedys and making it into one whole showcase. I love it. So yeah, it was a bit long-winded. It did eat into our set time a little bit, but we weren't too worried about that. We knew that we had a couple hours until curfew, so we were still in the clear. But at the same time, people were just like, I remember Tyler and Josh, they were sitting by the side stage, guitars in hand, just like inching their way closer to the stage, as it was like sort of their rendition of tapping their wrist, you know? I'm just thinking, yeah, can we get this going? You still got a band to perform. Hunter, Bobby, we get it. You love each other. Go punchlines, shit like that. Anyway, that was a bit of So it did take a while to get us on stage. I mean, no disrespect. We were just like, guys, just condense it a little more. Yeah, all the respect. Just, we got to get this going. Anyway, so my band, Apathetics, we get up on the stage and it was one of our best performances, one of the best shows we've ever played. I'm not exaggerating that. That is definitely it was so high energy. I mean, there was a crowd. We played to a crowd who were a bunch of first-time viewers. We had them all dancing. Kyle came up to lay down his solo on 5 to Life, which he did in the recording of that song. Josh handed out a couple of shirts to some audience members. He said that was kind of a plan to see if he'll find the cutest girl in the audience, give her a shirt, and then maybe he gets laid that night. Maybe. It's that's a hell of a process, but more power to you, bud. And also, it was our longest set. We even got encored, and we still didn't play all of our material. Oh, and we sold out of all of our shirts. That was amazing. The first time we ever got encored, and we decided to encore it with Fucked Up. Unfortunately, Josh was out of tune, but it didn't matter. People were just really hyped up, and we wanted to get one more in. And it was one of our most exciting songs. Alongside that, we managed to we got out into the audience. We were bumping into people. I was getting up on the little risers at the front of the stage during my little bass parts, just kind of nodding to the audience and just getting them all hyped up. Oh, and we have a lot of parts in our songs where we get everyone to clap. Ben pointed that out. Our drummer, Ben, he pointed that out after our set, realizing we have a lot of songs where there's a lot of clapping parts. I said, yeah, well, that's a good thing. Let's just keep people's energy up, keep their attention. Fucking goldfish. I joke, but seriously, it's one way to keep the audience entertained and interacting with them. That's what it's all about. Crowd interaction, audience participation. And in a venue like Kilby Court where it's a garage, yeah, that's kind of required. It's kind of expected. You can't escape that. You cannot escape that. And so, yeah, it was just a great show. As you can tell, I'm still a little raspy from the, not necessarily from the show, just from all the shitty air. I'm kind of coming off of a cold as well. Mild cold, a little stuffiness and a fucking cough. It's the worst. Actually, no, I've had plenty worse, but it still sucks that time of year. It's dumb. It's cold and there's no snow. I hate it. This winter sucks. Whatever. We're talking about shows or we're talking about the fucking weather. Yeah. Anyway, it was awesome to be playing in Kilby Court. I had seen, this was also a comment that kept making its rounds in the different people, different performers. They were saying, yeah, I was here. I remember being here. Yeah, Matt from Hangxiety, he said he was here in 2001 watching Poison the Well play on this stage. And I was like, yeah, I've been here just recently. I saw Madball play on the stage. And then I started thinking, what other established high-ranking bands have I seen on this stage? Yeah, I saw Madball. I've seen Black Dahlia Murder on there. I've seen the Menzingers. I've seen Pup in this stage. I even saw, I may not have attended certain shows that were there, but just to know that bands like Terror and also Code Orange played there. And then some of the more underground bands like 200 Stab Wounds and Forced. I've been to so many shows at Kilby Court. It was just awesome to be on the other side of the stage. And we will be playing there again in just a couple of weeks too. Not Apathetics, but my other band, Anonymous. We're gonna be, I'll be telling you about that. And just keep watching, and just keep following me. I post all the shows that are going on, all the ones that I can get to, or all the ones that come across my radar. I try and post every single one of them. It's a bitch, but it's worth it. But anyway, that's my Tales from the Pit. I got some thank yous are in orders. I mean, first of all, I got to thank my girlfriend, Kate Leduce, for making our logo. we have a new logo, Apathetics does. It's a feral punk rock cat. It's got a mohawk and little anarchy symbols for eyes. And yeah, we have that on a shirt now. And yeah, we got to get more made because, like I said, we sold out of all of them. They are on stickers, though. They are on stickers. And yeah, I also got to thank my friend Ben Rains from Cudney, who screen printed those shirts, and also our other friend Steve Sandberg for printing out the stickers, all just last minute. Like, this was within a week to get the logo designed, printed, and then just basically ready to be sold. We still got plenty of stickers, so if you like what you see, then yeah, hit us up or come to our next show. We'll have them there. We gotta get more shirts, though. And also, yeah, moving on, thank you to SLUG Magazine and especially to Cam Elliott for interviewing us and making us the little tagline, the saviors of punk rock, or like, no, SLC's last hope for punk. I'm going, okay, no pressure or anything, but thanks. And thanks for showing up to the show. And thanks to all my friends who showed up to the show. Like, my buddy Alex, he showed up with his girlfriend. I was not expecting him to be there. That was a nice surprise. And yeah, thank you to Kilby Court, of course, for having us play and making us sound good. You know, your sound guy, I can't remember the fella's name, but he is like, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And also, thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Hunter, for ensuring that we were to be the band to perform on this Localized. It's like, yeah, what punk band do you want to play? Apathetics. I go, all right. I guess that's one way how to get our foot in the door. Just getting up already inside with SLUG. I mean, Angela even asked me, when is your band going to get localized? I say, well, no one's asked us yet. It says, well, you got to submit. Oh, okay. So the fact that the head of SLUG, like the manager of SLUG, she's the head honcho, the fact that she's asking about it is, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But then again, I've been there for years. Everyone knows each other over there. It's a small scene. But, so yeah, thank you to everybody who was involved in that show. It was badass. It was a badass time. So that is my tale from the pit, guys. Now let's move on and get some of these other shows talked about. We have quite a few that are coming up in the next week or so. Just not a ton, but we have enough that are worth mentioning. They're all worth mentioning. There are 4 shows and specifically starting on the 31st. We're finishing out this month with Box Elder. They're playing some back-to-back shows actually on the 30th, on the time that you will most likely be listening to this episode. This Friday they're playing up in Ogden at ABG's. But on the 31st, they'll be playing down here in Salt Lake City at the DLC, which is at the Quarters Barcade downtown. They'll be playing with Frick and Knuckles and Molotovin. That is a $10 show, and it starts at 7 p.m. And then rolling into February, on the 2nd, Sabotage, Sectide, Angel Slaughter, and Remorse will all be playing at Black Lung. That is it's a $12 show if you pay cash, $15, however, if you're paying in Venmo. And then up on the 7th, this isn't in Utah, but all the way in Idaho. Yeah, that's going to be it's an out-of-state show, but some of our own are going up there, and some of these guys have played in Salt Lake. They've established themselves in Salt Lake as well. So, yeah, you're goddamn right. I'm counting it. It's a benefit show for the Ricks family. This will include the bands, Boys' Own Outlet, then Crow Killer, Forever War, Godbone, and False Being. And there are going to be some mini surprise sets from the bands Aftermath of a Train Wreck and Surrender All. these are bands that have not been active for 20 years about, so, but some of their members have gone on to do bigger and better things like the bands aforementioned. So they're saying that given the occasion, we'll do like a special mini set. I've seen Aftermath of a Trainwreck do this once before. It was, I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was Positive Reinforcement. Yeah, Positive Reinforcement. That was, mixed with Tyler and Blake from Crow Killer. They were both, they were both an Aftermath of a Trainwreck back in the 2000s, and then when they wanted to do this little comeback set, Blake went and did the drums, and then the guys in Positive Reinforcements, Matt, Sean, and Johan, they did the guitars and the bass, and then Tyler Rhodes from Crow Killer, he just handled the vocals. He's not the original vocalist of Aftermath. He was the guitarist, but, what are you going to do? So I assume it's going to be something like that, And Matt's in Crow Killer now, so he'll probably be... Actually, no, he probably won't be doing the drums. Got to keep it... got to keep it accurate, I guess. Anyway, it's funny that they're doing that again. I've seen that done a few times with different bands for special occasions. Anyway, that's going to be up in Idaho Falls at 755 South Capitol Avenue. It's a $12 show. It's a benefit show, so make sure you bring something. And that's going to be starting at 7:30 p.m. I may have said earlier that Boise outlet is from Boise. They're not. They're from Idaho Falls. I forgot about that. Anyway, moving on from that. Finally, on the 8th of February, the band Takova is having their album release show. That's going to be with Electricide and Sectide and Sabotage. It's going to be at Church and State. It is a $10 show, and I believe it's starting at 7 p.m. I know it doesn't say on the flyer, but it said on their post, so I'll have to be double sure about that. But, shows like this, you can assume between 6:30 and 7. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. That is this episode of Live and Wired and Tales from the Pit. Thank you all for watching day in, day out. It's been a hell of a time for me getting all these, juggling all these shows that are going to be, that I'm performing or even hosting, doing some more shows in my house now. And also with my girlfriend, and also with work, and also with trying to get my bands in order. It's kind of menacing right now, and I'm still working on getting my reviews, getting my list together for the best releases of 2025 together. It's a slow process, but a sure process. It's coming. Trust me, it's coming. Long but surefire. Something like that. Anyway, yeah. So thank you guys watching this week. I will be back next week to tell you of some more tales from the pit. I'm sure there will be a few. And if not, then, I'm just going to tell you about what other pits are going to be happening around you. So yeah, you guys have a great week. I hope that you were able to make it out to some of the shows that I have mentioned, or any shows that I have missed. I hope you have a good time. Hope you stay safe. I hope you return unscathed. And if you don't, at least you'll have a cool story to go along with it. Once again, I am your host, Eric the Unit Norris from SLC Punkcast, Live and Wired, Tales from the Pit, Live, Laugh, Mosh. And yeah, that's it for me. Take it away, Dustin. I'll see you in the fucking pit, motherfuckers. Shit.
Thank you, Eric. And now we'll go around the world. I only have a few to mention that were all mentioned last week. Didn't really have a lot of time this week to get to too much more, but definitely some cool stuff that you should go check out if it's in your neighborhood. And if your neighborhood's Oxnard, California, you'll want to go check out Angry Samoans. Our pals in Battle Flask dropping their record that will be out on vinyl on POW Records coming out in the coming months. I will post more details on that one. But you can go check them out playing those new tunes. Vintage War, Trigger Damage, and Slow Decay also playing that show. It's at Mrs. Olson's in Oxnard. $20 at the door or on Eventbrite, $15, but it is the day of the show. It's 18 and older, 7 p.m. So go check out that one if you're in that area. Also in California, in Riverside on February 7th, a free all ages show. Doors are at 6. Free free show poster, that is, for the first 25, so get there. It's a show celebrating Julia's Punxinera. It's Bodies in the Basement Volume 3 with Mad Peaceful, Cause of Death, Badass, and Joyska. Done is Done, and X-Rated. A lot of killer bands on that one. Then we'll go to the East Coast. This one is this Pennsylvania? I want to say it might be Pennsylvania. Could be around Baltimore. It's the American Legion Post 71 in Sissel, Saxon. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but it's probably somewhere. I think Fashion Crimes from PA, Dead End Lane from Baltimore. Then you got Apollo 66, an 8 p.m. show, Saturday, February 7th. It's free. It's all ages. Get there if you can. Our pals in Knockoff have some shows coming up here in February, as you can see on that flyer. A whole bunch. They have their whole year listed all the way into December, but I'll just quickly mention that Bristol, they'll be playing at Fleece, at Harry Dog in Derby on the 13th, in London at 229 on the 14th, and Manchester at Star and Garter. Go check them out. I love Knockoff. They are fantastic. And I think we're going to wrap it up. Like I said, I didn't have a ton, but a lot of great stuff coming. I know a lot of stuff I've seen for later on in February, March, April. A lot of great stuff already getting announced, so I definitely will get more announced on some coming episodes here of Live and Wired. But here on January 31st, today in Compton, California, you can go see the bands Dead Entertainment, Odio, the Victor something or another. I don't know why I can't read that. Anyway, Combat, PDW, Sleeping Society, Disfoo, $5 is the entry to get in. Doors are at 5, all ages. Get there today. Drink and food for sale. It's in Compton. It's a Punk Collective presents. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this week's Live and Wired and Eric's Tales from the Pit. And as per usual, we'll be back next week. We'll catch you then.